Hello everybody, this is Marco Has a Plan. I'm Marco and you are watching part 4 of my APU2C4 to PFSense build. In this video I want to take a look at the OpenVPN performance with the APU2C4 with PFSense installed on it. So this is our box. I have just done a reset and I have configured a few things on it. Mainly the interfaces, DHCP ranges, and the firewall rules. So we have three interfaces: WAN, LAN, and apt1. The WAN interface actually connects to my wall outlet here, and it connects to the rest of my current network, and it gets a DHCP address from the current PFSense. The IP address is 10.110.12.125, and in there's also the the DNS server, which is the 10.110.199.6. Now this is something that I want to have, that should be gone when this is done, because this is part of a transfer net between my current switch stack and the current PFSense. Because with the new PFSense, I wanted that the gateway interface for each subnet or for each network segment is on the PFSense. At the moment, it is so that for a few subnets or segments, the gateway IP is actually on an interface or on interfaces on the switch, and for some it is on an interface or on interfaces of the PFSense. But I want to get all of this done. I want to do everything with the PFSense. Hopefully. I'm not sure yet how I do it. So that's the WAN interface. Then we have a LAN and the apt1. The LAN interface is the 10.111.0.1, and I have also configured the DHCP range there, which is from 10.111.0.10 to .20. The net is the /24, so 255.255.255.0. And on the apt1 interface, we have an IP address of 10.111.1.1. Same thing, configure the DHCP range there from 10.111.110 to 10.111.120. Same thing, it's a /24 subnet, so 255.255.255.0. Okay, so much for that. We are not concerning ourselves with the WAN interface here, because I just need to get outside. I just need the PFSense to be connected to the internet, because we have to load a package during this video. But other than that, we will not concern ourselves with it. And I guess I have not done anything else with this. There's no configuration gone in there whatsoever. So the LAN interface is actually connected to this PC that I'm doing this right now. You can see this down there. No internet access because of the firewall. And the apt1 interface is connected to my MacBook Pro. The MacBook has the first IP from the DHCP range, just as well as the PC has the first IP of the DHCP range. So the final goal of this video is to install or to configure a OpenVPN server on the PFSense, to download the client config to my MacBook Pro, and to start software called TunnelBlick with this configuration, and to VPN into the PFSense box. And then I want to start an iPerf server on the MacBook Pro, and I want to use iPerf from my main computer to the MacBook Pro over the firewall and the VPN tunnel, and see what the speed is. I already did this before. I configured everything, I tested out everything, but now I have to do this all from memory, and I hope this is going to work. So first test, or no, not first test, we go to our firewall rules, because there I have set up a few things. Nothing on the WAN interface because we don't need this, and it's WAN LAN up. These rules are incoming rules, so these are rules for traffic that comes to the firewall from that network itself. So we do not have anything that comes from the WAN interface, so we don't have to concern ourselves with that. On the LAN interface where this computer is connected, we have two rules. One that was automatically created by the firewall when I created the LAN port. So the anti-logout rule, which makes sure that the PFSense is reachable on port 80 to reach the user interface, the web interface. And also I have created a second rule, and you can see I've used this extensively because I've already transferred 5.79 gigabytes, or gigabytes in this case, I guess, of data when I did testing. But that is just a rule to allow me to get out of the LAN net with the port 5201, which is the iPerf port that is opened on the server. And apt1, which is the sorry, is the interface where my MacBook Pro is connected, and there I manually created a rule that allows me to reach the firewall on port 80, because I need to reach it later on when I want to download the OpenVPN config file. So that's just everything we have done for now. We can go back here. We can see all the things that are basically standard. I have not changed anything here, I guess, hopefully. So PCEngines APU2, we have version 244 release P1. There is an update available, but we are not going to do this. AMD GX 412TC system on a chip, 4 cores. AES&I crypto is available, but oh, it's already active. I already activated it. I wanted to do this in the video, but I guess I'm going to show you where you can activate it. And hardware crypto for all that is standing here. Kernel PTI is disabled. That's something that's only, I guess, activated on chips that have the meltdown weakness, I guess. We are running for about 2 hours now because I had to do some testing. And yeah, so the first thing I want to do now is I want to just use iPerf from this computer to the MacBook Pro. Let's just start iPerf as a server on the MacBook, and let's just see if we DHCP leases. The Mac has the 10.1.11.1.10, and I guess I should still have this in here. 10.1.11.1.10. Okay, let's just see what it does. And as you can see, this is far away from a gigabit. So just by activating, or just by having, by filtering traffic, you cannot get a gigabit of throughput. And this is actually less that I have seen before, because before I was at around 500, 750, 760 for this, but it could be the states of the firewall, or it could be the MacBook Pro when it goes to sleep and when I wake it up. Something is a little iffy there. let's just say we get 634 megabit right now. I already was at 750, a stable 750, 760, 770 even, but it does not get higher than that. So always keep that in mind. So I have, as you know, this firewall has 3 ports, and I want to connect one port to my modem, which goes outside with PPPoE, and I wanted to do an aggregation of the other 2 ports and go to each of my switches of my stack to have a little redundancy, but then I would have 2 gigabits of bandwidth, but I would never be able to use these 2 gigabits because traffic that goes from one subnet to another subnet, or from one network segment to another segment, from one VPN to another VPN, will always be filtered, and with filtering, the maximum we can reach is 634 megabits per second, or as I tested, 750, 60, 70, around that number. So I will never saturate the 2 gigabits of connection that I get there. And an interesting thing is, we could just, for giggles, go to advanced, go to firewall and net, go to disable packet filtering, and say save. Okay, now to be sure, I'm going to reset all the states here, because at some points it was, I got better results when I resetted all the states. What's our CPU usage at? 7%, 3%. Okay, let's try this again. And just to it's something is a little fishy in there, because at some point we get 937 megabits and 930, 941, which is close to the theoretical maximum of a gigabit, which we should get because the firewall got disabled. So all the PFSense has to do is to get traffic from one interface, put it to another interface, and gone, and just rewrite, maybe rewrite a header. Let's rewrite a header, whatever. But just do that. There's no filtering going on anymore. So we should get better results. And especially now, 519, 534, that cannot be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video right here. And then I'm going to reboot the MacBook Pro, and then we're going to see what happens. Okay, so let's just do that. I am back, and as you can see, or as you cannot see, the window of my webcam is gone in the lower right corner, and that is because the Logitech capture software seems to do something with my network. And I don't know what, but as soon as I deactivated it, and I even deactivated my local firewall of my security software, and now I get way better results. So as you can see here, the first one is but then we get 940, 940, 940, 950, 940, 940, 940, 940, 938. Let's just try this again. Let's see how it is now. 940, 939, 930, 949, 943, 949, 949, 943, 946, and done. So we get 944 megabits per second without any packet filtering. And this is what I saw before, and this is how it should be. So we are going to leave the webcam deactivated for now. and I go back here and I go to advanced and firewall and net, and we are going to enable packet filtering again, save, and to be completely safe I am going to stop the iPerf server. Come on. And we're going to reset all the states. Takes too long. There we are again. And now I'm going to restart the iPerf server. Server is listening, and we are trying this again. So, and now it looks much better, okay? So we start with 582, but then we go up to 790, 790, 780, 780. Then we drop to 5 and the sum, and then we go back up again. So I guess we still have some bottleneck somewhere, I guess, on my local system. Something is interfering in some way. I don't know what exactly, but I guess you could say that without firewall, without filtering, you can get solid 950 megabits, and with the firewall, you can get a little less than 800, which still is not a full gigabit, but it's still not bad, I think. Okay, so now we have basically we have our baseline, okay? With firewall, let's say around 700 megabit on the machine that I use right now. So now we actually have to set up our VPN. And we go back here, and I guess as you can see, ASNI CPU crypto is already activated. If not, you can find it under advanced and then miscellaneous. Interesting, cryptographic hardware is none. I thought, that's what I thought. Based acceleration, save. Thank you. Go back to the start screen. Crypto, yes, active. CPC, okay. Now we're talking. Okay then, let's go to VPN and OpenVPN, and there we can use the wizard. OpenVPN remote access server setup. So this is exactly what we want, and there we can select an authentication backend type, and type of server we can use local user access, LDAP, or radius. We have nothing here configured right now, so we use local user access. We can just use the admin user for now. This is just for demonstration purposes. In an production environment, you do not use the admin user. And click next. So descriptive name, we call it. Oh no! I was almost gone wrong. So certificate authority selection. Create a new certificate authority, CA certificate. So to use OpenVPN, we have to create a new certificate authority. I guess if we had done this before, or if we had connected to existing certificate authority. This might not be needed. We could use that, but we didn't. So we just create a new certificate authority and we call it just testCA. We leave this as it is, 10 years. Country code, DE for Germany, state or province, SA for Saxony, city core, organization, Parker has a plan. Okay, we create a new CA and done. So we create a new server certificate. We call it just call it VPN and leave this as it is. Or we can just change this. And here we have our general OpenVPN server information. Interface. We cannot use WAN. We need to use apt1. In other situations in a production environment, you would typically, as they state down here, use WAN. But this is just for testing purposes. This is just for sort of benchmarking. And we said that my MacBook Pro is going to be the VPN client, and the MacBook Pro is connected to the apt1 port. So the apt1 port is actually the one that the server listens to. So we have to choose this one. Protocol UDP on IPv4 only. That's good enough for us. Local port is 1194. That's standard. We leave this as it is. We just a name for this OpenVPN instance. MHAP access. We say TLS authentication, generate TLS key, TLS shared key. We don't need this. Should be generated automatically. We use DH params length 2084 typically. Encryption algorithm, we are going to change to AES 256 GCM. Auth digest algorithm. We leave at SHA 256. Yep. Hardware crypto, and this is something special. You will not get to choose anything here. No hardware crypto, but you can trust me that, or you cannot trust me. I did a little research, and apparently on current versions of PFSense, OpenVPN will actually use hardware crypto as soon as it is available. So it's not going to make any difference. Tunnel network. This is the virtual network used for private communications between the server and client hosts expressed using Cedar notation. So we, our current networks are called 10.111.001. whatever. So to make this a little different, we make this 10.112.0.1 and we're going to do /24. Redirect gateway, force all client generated traffic through the tunnel. Yes, we will do this. Local network. This is the network that will be accessible from the remote endpoint expressed as a CEDAR range. This may be left blank if not adding a route to the local network through this tunnel. I guess we could use 10.111.0.0 with a /16 here. So it would be reaching all 10.11. anything. Yeah, we'll leave it at like that. We basically do not need this because the client will not be accessing anything. We will be accessing, or we will be, because the OpenVPN or the TunnelPlick OpenVPN client is going to run on the MacBook Pro, but there we are going to start the iPerf server. So we are only going to connect to the MacBook Pro, and we're not going to need anything to be reachable from the MacBook Pro. Concurrent connections, let's just keep this at 10. We're not going to need that many. I guess we could leave it at 1. Type of server, set the TOS IP header value of tunnel packets to match the encapsulated packets TOS value. Nope, I guess we can leave this out. Inter-client communication, I guess we can leave this out too. Duplicate connections, multiple concurrent connections from clients using the same common name. Nope. Sorry. Dynamic IP allow connected clients to retain their connections if their IP range address changes. Yeah, why not? Topology, subnets, one IP address per client in a common subnet. Yes. All of this we leave empty, I guess, and we are going to go to next. Firewall rule configuration, OpenVPN, remote access server wizard, traffic from clients to server. From clients to server, add a rule to permit connections to this open. Yeah, we need this. Add a rule to allow traffic from connected clients to pass inside the VPN tunnel. Yeah, I guess we can just take a look how this looks like. And we go to next, and then we go to finish. Okay, so this is our OpenVPN server we have created right now, and it should be running. Status OpenVPN. Does it say? Does it? Oh, server's not running. Unable to connect. Contact daemon. Maybe this takes a few moments, or doesn't it? We go to firewall and check if our rules have been. So, okay, so on the opt1 interface, we have our IPv4 UDP rule on port 1194 OpenVM, and the description says OpenVPN MHAP access wizard. Nice. So this rule got created automatically, and we also have a new type OpenVPN. And there we have OpenVPN MHAP access wizard. So from the OpenVPN, oh, I guess I do not like that rule. So basically all clients, OpenVPN clients, can just do everything and reach everything. Okay, I'm not a fan of that, I guess, but whatever. So, okay, let's go to status once again and look at our OpenVPN. Server's not running. That's a little bit troublesome. Okay, I just wanted to go to package manager because last time when I tried to do this, I went to the package manager and I actually installed the OpenVPN client export. And it's not here anymore. So I guess even though I have, even though I have reset the PFSense, I guess I just deleted all the settings, but not the installed packages. So I guess this one is current. So let's just take a look at our certificate manager. So the CA is up and running. Certificates. We have the VPN certificate, it's a server certificate in use for OpenVPN server. Certificate revocation should be empty. So let's just take a look at our OpenVPN again and try to start it. And if this does not work, I guess I'm going to reboot the PFSense. Unable to contact daemon. Last time I tried this, it worked as a charm. So let's just say reboot. And reboot. Will she reboot? Yes. Oh, this melody. So, okay, let's just see if this thing comes back up after we have rebooted. And what we are going to do then is we are going to log into the PFSense with the MacBook Pro. We are going to download the OpenVPN config file, import it into Tunnel Black. Then we are going to connect to the VPN and try again to do our iPerf testing. So I did a reboot, and then I do not know if that was what fixed the issue, but I made a mistake because my tunnel network was 10.1.12.0.1/24, and that is not a network, that's a network address. So I had to change it to 10.1.12.0.24, and then it actually ran. So, like I said, we are going to go back here, and then I am moving over to my MacBook Pro, and we are accessing 10.111.1.1 admin and PFSense, and you can hear it, login successful. And then we are going to go to, and I already remember what I forgot. So let's just go over to OpenVPN and client export. And there is nothing to export there. And I'm coming over here again. Because as you can see here, nothing to export. Because our user has no certificate. So we go over to System, User Manager, and we take our admin user. No, yeah, I guess it was here. We go to user certificates and we add a user certificate. So create an internal descriptor name admin, blah blah blah. When I guess we have to create a common name. Yeah. Just call it admin for now. Whatever. Okay, so now our admin has a certificate. And now I just can show it here, I guess, but then I have to go over to the MacBook again. VPN, OpenVPN, client export, and now there's something to export here. And I'm going over to the MacBook Pro. I'm going to download this file. So I'm on the right page here, so I can just reload the page, go to here. Most clients, it's a file with an OVPN ending, so it's an OpenVPN file. I'm going to just save that. And then I'm going to open my download folder and I have to open TunnelBlick. Okay. Just wait for it to open. It takes a moment. Now we're there. Willkommen zu Ich habe Konfigurationsdateien. Okay. It's just move this up here. Install the config file. Needs my password. Okay, config file installed and connect and admin and PFSense. Loading configuration. And that should be it. So, sorry. Let's just go up here and go to status and open VPN, and there you have it. Common name admin, real address 10.1.11.110, port 1194, virtual address 10.1.12.0.2, connected since, bytes sent received, whatever. So let's just go over here and let's just ping 10.1.12.0.2. Map. That cannot work, and here is why, because ping will be filtered out by the firewall. So just go to Control C and we go over here. I guess we do not have to use ping, but let's just do it. I mean, come on. I'm on a LAN interface. I add, I pass, I interface, I protocol, ICMP. We just go any. Source is LANnet. Destination is, I guess, any. Can ping from LAN to any. And save. And we apply the changes. And then that should be it. So let's just try this again. And yay, it works. So let's go back to the MacBook Pro. I'm going to stop the iPerf server and I'm going to start it up again. and then we are going to iperf to 10.1.12.0.2 and set enter. And I guess I have to, yeah. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, let's just wait for the timeout here. Yeah, unable to connect to server because my iperf rule only goes for LAN net to opt1net, and we are going from LAN net to OpenVPN. So let's just copy that rule, and for destination we set shouldn't there be OpenVPN? PPPoE network. Can I set this single host or alias or network? We go network. Let's just say 10.112.0.0 and .16. That should theoretically cover it. So let's go save and let's go apply. And now this should theoretically work. Oh! And there we are. So as you can see, we get around 120 megabits per second of VPN speed here. And I mean, it's enough for me. Because remember, this is my lab and I'm the only one using it. I will be the only one who ever is going to remote access into here, and the internet connection in the data center or in the server room is 100 down and 40 megabits up. So I will never reach, as a single person, I will never reach the maximum bandwidth that this thing is capable of. And with other things too. I mean, there are 4 or 5 people using this device in total. So I'm satisfied, and I can tell you that I tried this before with now we are using AES. Let's just go back to OpenVPN. So now we're using AES 265 GCM as our algorithm. And I tried this with AES 265 CBC, but that was not as performant as GCM. With CBC, I got around 70 to 80 megabits. And with GCM now you can see 120 megabits per second. And yeah, just for remoting into my home network with I guess 10 megabytes per second. I mean, that's not bad. That's really okay. And for stuff that I want to move to my server from the outside, as I said, it's 40 megabits theoretically, 30 in reality. I don't get more with the TP-Link router I have at the moment. We're going to switch this out for the Draytec Vigor 130, and we're going to see what this is going to be like. But yeah, I mean, this is really not bad. To sum up, 950 megabits when the firewall functionality is actually disabled, so routing only. As soon as we enabled the firewall, we dropped to a little over 700 megabits. I say a little over because we went down to 669 at some point, but I guess that's something to do with my PC. I guess something there interferes in some way. I have no idea what, but I guess you could reach 700, 750 maybe with the firewall turned on. And finally, when we enabled OpenVPN with the AES-256 GCM encryption, yes, I said AES-265 before twice, but what can you do? It's Sunday, close to 5 p.m. Yeah, with that encryption, we reached around 120 megabits per second. I really have no way in comparing that to anything else, but let's just go over the facts. So PFSense is free. The box, the APU2C4 with everything that went in and around it. So the APU2C4 is just the board, plus the housing, plus the SSD, plus the power adapter, plus the null modem cable, plus I feel like I forgot something, but whatever. Everything in total ran me about 200 euro. I guess a little over 200 euros, including shipping and all of that. So in total. And I chose the APU, the PCEngines APU2, mostly because of the efficiency, I guess. Because I read that the power adapter it comes with provides 24 watts max. And I read somewhere that they never got over 10 watts. More like 6 to 8 watts of power usage of that device. And in contrast to that, the current firewall, the current PFSense I have, runs on the Dell R710. And the Dell R710 runs on the Dell R710 as a virtual machine. And so whenever I want to access anything over there, I have to run the Dell R710. Even if I do not have any other virtual machines running at that time, or I do not need any other machines because I have no testing going on or whatever, the Dell R710 always has to run. And the Dell R710, why do I say Dell R710 so much? So it consumes a little over 200 watts. And with 200 watts, I guess you can divide that by 5, around 5, and you know what that server cost me in electricity per month if it runs 24/7. So I could just delete that virtual machine. I could just switch it out with the physical box that takes 10 watts, and I can still remote into the lab or the data center or the server room or however you may call it, and I can remotely turn on the server, or I can remotely turn off the server. Just how I like it, just how I need it. And just by that, I can save a lot of money each month. And let's just say that that server runs, or in the future, that server runs 50% of the time. That I can turn it off or keep it off at 50% of the time. That means that after 10 months, that's 20 euro per month. That means after 10 months, that thing is refinanced. And that means after 10 months, I save money. And I guess I will never notice any bottleneck in performance, because I am the main user of that firewall. Nobody else is using that. And I guess I will only really recognize that bottleneck in file transfer when I need bandwidth. But from here, from this apartment, transfer over to the server room, we have other bottlenecks there. There is the Wi-Fi bridge out there, the Unify Wi-Fi bridge, not the Ubiquiti Wi-Fi bridge, and that does not reach that values in transfer speed. So for now, at least, I'm happy. That's great. I mean, it runs. It's great. Unfortunately, I had a device that could tell me how much power this thing consumes, but I do not know where it went. I had it somewhere. Maybe I gave it away to someone for testing or whatever, but I had that. And so I do not know how much this thing consumes. But yeah, if you made it so long, I know this video is really long. It is. I always tell myself, make these videos shorter, make them more to the point. But I mean, if you want to tell someone about transfer speeds of OpenVPN, you have to go through the whole configuration so everybody sees how it is configured, how the values are, how your goalposts are at the end. So I do not have a cough. It's allergic. I'm having hay fever or whatever you may call it. So if you made it till here, thank you for watching. This was part 4 of, as it now turns out, a 5-part series. And the last part, which will hopefully be a lot shorter and which I can hopefully get done really, really soon, because it has taken me over a month to do these 4 parts. In the 5th part, we are actually going to deploy this thing. And I have to do a lot of stuff to get this done, especially on the switch stack. I have to reconfigure all the interfaces, but I do not want to bore you. If you want to see more of me, see more of these tech things, because that is what this channel is going to be. It's just going to be an admin IT tech channel from now on, because that's what I have fun with. Subscribe, like. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. Anything I could have done differently, anything you know that I do not know, write it down there. I'm always thankful if I can acquire new knowledge. So thank you, and I guess you'll see me next time.